Tonight's episode, it's about 3 masks that came in on a deal, and it's about the masks. They're super rare, but it's also about the people involved in the transaction. And it just goes to show you, you never know what's out there, and you never know everyone's stories with some of these things you're buying. And this is a really cool one. So I want to share it with you because it blew my mind when it all went down. So here we go. Man, of course, I'm just getting home and it is 12:30 at night, morning, whatever you want to call it. Boy, did I see one of the most epic concerts. Everything I've seen lately has been insanely incredible. But this, I saw The Who, and I've seen them before, but they had an incredible orchestra with them. I am blown away by what I just witnessed. They sounded incredible. Oh my God. I can't even get into that. That's going to be a whole nother discussion, but what are you doing? Hey. So, that Frankenstein video went over pretty well. That was a lot of fun. I got a little more in-depth into stuff, like the restoration on that one, which was really fun. As much work as it can be working with hands and stuff like that, it is fun. I mean, especially when the results come out the way they did, then it's like a real satisfying, my mascots are back. Guys, this is Midnight, one of the mascots here at the Crimson Ghost Mask Room. You may see him getting yelled at from time to time, and or we may be arguing about things, but he is one of the best cats in the universe. He's a big baby. He's only 2 years old. I rescued his mother out of the woods one day, and she happened to be pregnant. And, all right, go on. You gotta stop eating, dude. Okay? You're eating too much. I see this poor little cat. It was starving. My sister comes over. She goes, "That cat's pregnant." I'm like, what? Sure enough, the cat was pregnant. Everyone said, you gotta provide a safe place for that cat to have her kittens, or they're all gonna get eaten up out in the wild. We live out in the woods. They're like, they're not going to survive. So to make a long story short, the cat had 6 babies. We kept 2 of them. That's Mustache. You met Midnight several times. She is honestly one of the greatest little cats in the world. They're brother and sister. They may seem all sweet and cuddly, but don't let that fool you. They're little psychopaths. And if you see me yelling at them, or, nobody's getting harmed. I don't need PETA moving in here thinking I'm harming my babies. One day, this young man on Instagram hits me up. He says, hey, he sends me a link. Like I've told you guys, I will hook you up with finder's fees if something truly amazing lands in this collection. I say that from time to time, and I'll get flooded with, my inbox will be full of like just the worst masks. Everyone on eBay that pops up, people start sending me them. Just the worst of the worst. And I'm like, slow down, okay? I see all those masks every day. Truly rare stuff, though. Send it my way, and if it lands here, I will definitely give you a finder's fee. So this young man sends me this link. He goes, do these masks look like something you would collect? And I look at the picture, and I'm looking closer, and I'm like, what? I blow the picture up on this marketplace ad, and I could not believe my eyes. I'm going to show you the 3 masks. I'm going to show you the ad. But when you learn what the 3 masks were in the ad and the price they were asking, it was too good to be true. And then when I saw the price they were asking, I kind of freaked out because it was literal pennies on the dollar as far as the price. And the masks were so rare. 2 out of the 3. The third one's incredible. But 2 masks from 1966. The other one from 1977. I'm talking some of the rarest Don Post masks that I've ever seen pop up for sale. Things that I thought were unobtainable. Okay. One, a 1966 Don Post calendar Wolfman, and a 1966 Metaluna Mutant, which is actually technically the calendar mask as well. I did a whole video on the, oh, sorry, buddy. I did a whole video on the mutants, so I don't want to get in the whole history of that green mask, but that's a really, really special one. So I'm going to tell you the story. First, I'm going to show you the 3 masks that were in the ad. All right, are you ready? Here we go. So, 1977 Dracula. That is the Christopher Lee style. The 1966 Metaluna Mutant. And an ultra rare 1966 calendar Wolfman by Don Post. All 3 Don Post Studios masks. My whole time I've been collecting Don Post masks, I never in my life thought there were any calendar Wolfmans to exist out there. Never seen one, never saw. I've seen like some rare versions from wax museums and things like that, but you know, production calendar masks, hen's teeth, super rare. I never in my life thought I would ever see one in my hands, let alone own one. The thing is, with the 66 calendar Wolfman, those of you that know the calendar, the 66 monster calendar, the Wolfman there is all brown. Okay, there's a famous picture I'll show you now. He's all brown. This was an alternate version they made in 66 with brown and white hair. So rare. This was actually featured in a crazy B movie called Orgy of the Dead. Good old Ed Wood film, Orgy of the Dead. So I stared at the picture. I'm like, that is what it is. That's exactly what that mask is. This being right next to it. And this needed some extensive restoration work underneath. If you go watch that mutant video, and if you like the work I did on that 76 Frankenstein mask, you will love what I did with this thing. This did not look like this when it arrived here. These 2 here, so rare. I mean, if they popped up on eBay, I would have went crazy bidding on them just to try and land them in the collection because they're so important to me as a Don Post collector. And of course, one of the nicest Christopher Lee 1977 Draculas I've ever seen. This was foam filled by my friend, and it is literally like brand new. Just gorgeous copy. Now, I'm going to tell you the story on this because at first, the way I'm telling the story, you may think I'm going to be gloating. I am not. I'm going to explain to you how this all played out, okay? These 3 masks were in a marketplace ad for $75. 99.999% of the time, anything cool shows up on marketplace. I'm too late. I'm always late in the game. And I'll say, are these available? And number 1, people never respond ever. Okay, I'm still waiting for a lady out there to sell me this cool haunted house game that she had to check on shipping, 18 weeks ago. I keep bugging her, but of course she just disappears. Doesn't want to sell her merchandise, I guess. But either I'm late in the game or it's already sold, or number 2, people just don't respond. They want to sell something and then they disappear. Lo and behold, the guy answers, and the owner of the masks, and he says they are still here. And I go, listen. I go, these masks are worth way more money than what you're selling them for, okay? The masks were in California, all right? They were out in LA. I'm in Indiana. So I start freaking out. I'm thinking once guys in the hobby see these things, they're going to go nuts trying to outbid each other, outdo each other, trying to get them, whatever it takes. Lots of times guys offer stupid prices on things, way more than the pieces are even worth, ruining the market value and blowing them out of proportion. So I told the gentleman, I said, listen, they're worth way more. I'm going to pay you way more. Just please sell them to me, okay? I contacted my best friend in LA, my buddy Steve. I go, you guys drop what you're doing. Drive to this man's house. I'm going to send you a bunch of money right now through like PayPal or whatever it was. I go, he only wants $75 for these masks. I want you to give him way more money. Okay, it was a large amount. I go, you got to do it now because time is a factor. I didn't want two guys to start outbidding each other with the seller. And before you know it, they're 10 times the price of what they should be. You know, it happens. And I am just thrilled that something so rare may end up in this collection. Obviously, I'm into rare Don Post masks. That's my thing. So what I do, I send the gentleman pictures of my collection. I go, I am very serious. You know, I'm a serious collector of Don Post, and I want to pay you more money. My friend lives in LA. He's going to drive to you. He could drive to you today, this evening, whatever we came up with. He goes, listen, they're not going anywhere. He saw my collection, and the guy, like, he responds, he goes, listen to me, this is unbelievable to me because this is where it gets cool. He goes, my father was like not only a professional clown, like in the 60s, but a vaudeville type performer, I think in the 50s, and he would put on spook shows. You know, in the 50s and 60s, like stage performance spook shows, the old school, real deal spook shows. Those were much, you know, those were in like the 40s, or like probably early 40s, 30s and 40s, but I'm sure they were lingering on in the 50s and 60s as stage performances, and that's what this guy's father did. He goes, listen to me, I don't want any more money out of you. He goes, if my father saw where these masks are ending up, it would mean everything to him. He goes, he was so into the monster masks and monsters and performing and dressing up like these characters on stage. He goes, if he saw where these masks are ending up, it would be everything to my dad. And I'm like, that is so cool, you know? And I'm like, you know, we talked for a lot after that. It became a real interesting conversation. So my buddy gets to his house, and I'm sweating the whole time, like some nutball is going to know I'm probably bidding on these or trying to buy them and want to outdo me and just start offering stupid money on them. And this thing needed serious work. They were lousy photos. You couldn't tell if they had serious problems or not. You know, you got to be very careful. Just because something's rare, it could be hard as a rock. It could be melting. It could be, you know, just a disaster. So be smart. You know, offer good, but be smart. So my friend gets there. I send him a lot of money. I go, dude, just hand him the money, please. I don't care what he said. So I'm waiting like an hour. I'm like, am I getting these amazing pieces, you know? And my buddy called me like an hour and a half later. He goes, man, what a great guy. He showed me all this stuff about his father. Gave me extra things to give you. And I got the masks. I'm like, oh, so awesome. And I go, did you give him the money? And he goes, I tried giving him the money. He wouldn't take it. I'm like, are you kidding me? And he just kept saying, no, the guy didn't want, you know, I'm sure the guy probably was well off or well-to-do, and just, he goes, the guy didn't want one more penny, you know. I ended up giving him more than the ad. I think in the original conversation, I go, I'm going to offer you this much more. It was a good amount. And he wouldn't take a penny over that first thing. I wanted to give him way more money. And it was the conversation we had about his father and where these masks were going to end up. What a great guy. And he kept his word. And it meant something to him that his father would be proud where they ended up. So it was super cool. So in the end, a simple sale on Marketplace ended up being special for this man because of his relationship with his father. And these pieces meant a lot to his dad, apparently. And it was cool. He was a man of his word. And money didn't matter this whole deal. It was so just, I'll never forget that story with him. And you know, I said, your dad definitely probably bought these together in 1966. This was 10 years later, but man, it was so amazing that those two masks are still around. And if you guys are really digging the little restoration stuff I did on that 76 Frankenstein mask, Go look up my mutant videos, and at the end I show you the restoration process I did on portions of this mask. This thing is so rare, it's the only one I've ever seen. And I believe that this is the very first style Don Post Metaluna Mutant in this green color. So rare, and it's such a fine example. And it retains about 95% of its original paint. Like, even though I restored parts of it, it's super, super original as far as the paint and everything. That's a whole other conversation. But this Wolfman, so when the Wolfman came in, he was kind of scrunched up his face. The bridge of his nose especially was kind of smashed in. Like I say, gravity takes its toll on these things. So eventually I want to foam fill this thing because it's so rare. I want to try to preserve it as best I can. The paint work is still beautiful on it, but the shape of him was pretty lame. So I did this heat treatment, the one I'm going to go over soon with you guys, and I was able to stretch out the bridge of his nose more. It was like folded over. So I was able to open that up more, opening his eyes more, pushing out his cheeks slightly, and fixing the bottom of it. I'll show you before and after pictures of this guy. It didn't come out perfect, but I mean, just little subtle changes in the shape make it better and better. And before I go to foam fill him, I'm definitely going to try to do one more heating process. And it's such a delicate process. I mean, if you go too far, it's just going to start cracking and it'll just bust there. And that's the last thing I want to see happen to such a rare mask. I would say this is hands down one of the rarest Wolfman known to exist. One of the rarest Wolfmen known to exist in the Don Post world. Same goes with this Metaluna Mutant. There are Christopher Lee Draculas out there, but man, this is a spectacular 70s copy. I mean, it's like brand new, especially after foam filling. So, like I said, and I wasn't aware that there were two different calendar version masks in the 60s. I always thought they were all brown. So it was in the David Lady mask book where I learned that there was a two-tone version, you know, and I've only seen pictures of them since, like from that old movie. Well, I saw the movie, I should say, but back then I didn't realize it. That's what it was on film. I'm like, that's a calendar Wolfman, you know? And calendar masks are some of the rarest Don Post masks known. So I had to share this story with you because it was beyond special to me, special to the owner of these masks, and you know, it would have been special to his father to see where these masks ended up. It was a very cool transaction that I will never forget. But look at that sucker. That is super, super rare. It's not the biggest mask in the world either, this Wolfman. When they were new, the hair was much bushier and crazier. You know, this thing's decades old, and the hair, it's matted down pretty good. Sometimes I'll like tease it out and make him look crazy, but he looks like a damn mess. So I just kind of keep him, there she is. I keep him kind of, you know, patted down like that. And hopefully in time, when I start doing some more heat treatments soon, I may mess with him one final time just to see if I can get that shape any better. But that's crazy. So, and the young, all right, and back to the young man that sent me this ad on Instagram. I think I sent him a nice, you know, finder's fee. It was $300 or $400, I think. And I said, listen, you could have easily bought these for $75 and made lots of money on me, and you didn't do that either. Like, people like that are very few and far between these days. The fact that kid could have sold, he could have bought these for $75, turned around and said, give me $2,000 for these masks. I would have said, okay, you know. And I mean, he was so cool about it, just passing it on to me, which is so rare for someone to even do that. I really wanted to take care of him, and I can't thank him enough, and I can't thank the owner enough. He knows who he is if he sees this video, and I really, especially after hearing that story about his father, he even sent me pictures of his dad as a circus clown. I really, really took my time in trying to restore this thing and getting it back to shape. I'll show you before and afters on all these, but talk about, this is hands down one of the rarest scores ever to land in this collection. And I had to share it with you today for episode 12. And you know, I'm trying to do this on single masks, but this was a lot of 3 that came in, and I had to kind of keep them together and do a video on all 3 today. But just unbelievable what's out there sometimes. When you think you'll never see a mask ever, one surfaces, or even a case of them can surface, and you're like, oh my God, they're so rare. Some dude just found 12 of them, you know? You never know what's still out there. Just like in the car world, it's crazy what's turning up in barn finds, you know, these days. So, car guys, I should be filming another video on the Formula Firebird tomorrow, the new score. So hang tight. We got it running and it's drivable. I'm gonna drive it for the first time. So thanks for watching this. This is a quick episode. The next one will be a lot more in-depth, but this was truly spectacular and I had to share it with you guys. So thanks a lot, and I'll see you later.